I'm going to be taking you guys through the cost benefit analysis. In different parts of the cost benefit analysis, all the resources that were used for this project were for free. No fees were paid. The resources include the campus Wi-Fi, Google, YouTube, and Stack Overflow. The purpose of the different parts of a cost benefit analysis. We didn't incur that much cost since majority of our resources were free. That was a major benefit for us. Since capital was not a factor to us, we had freedom to explore. 3. Time estimate on an element of work based on a breakdown of its components. We only had a month to finish this project, so we had to carefully think about how we are going to break down the project as a team. We therefore split the project into different parts, and from those parts, we further broke it down into week-long iterations. Time estimate on element of work based on the understanding that the estimate should include the implementation testing of interfaces or other components where applicable. We were initially given a month to complete the whole project, and some of the major milestones functionality were users, giving them the ability to register and log in. Expenses, what and how much they spent on something. Payment request, asking for a refund if they paid for a friend. Payments made when received a payment request. We figured out that each of these core functionalities could be understood, designed, implemented, and tested within a week. A month was the initial time that we had for this project, so we further broke it down into individual core functionalities that were week-long iterations. Cost estimate on an element of work based on a breakdown of its components. We saw that to properly build this project, we had to have strict rules to follow. Each week started with a proper breakdown of the functionality. We then had to source resources that would help us. This with tests and then implementations, while making sure that I had to see this. Not too much. Would help us. And the source. Yeah, to get it clean. Good morning, everyone. My name is Togozo Misi, and I'm going to be taking you guys through the cost-benefit analysis. The different parts of a cost-benefit analysis. All the resources that were used for this project were free. No fees were paid, and the resources include the campus Wi-Fi, Google, YouTube, and Stack Overflow. The purpose of the different parts of a cost-benefit analysis. We didn't incur that much cost since majority of our resources were free. That was a major benefit for us. Since capital was not affected to us, we had freedom to explore. Time estimate on an element of work based on a breakdown of its components. We only had a month to finish this project, so we had to carefully think about how we were going to break down the project. As a team, we therefore split the project into different parts, and then from those parts, we further broke it down into week-long iterations. 4. Time estimate on the element of work based on the understanding that the estimate should include implementation testing of interfaces to other components where applicable. We were initially given a month to complete the whole project, and some of the major milestone functionalities were users, giving them the ability to register and log in, expenses, what and how much you spent on something, payment request, asking for a refund if you had paid for a fund, payments, payments made when received a payment request. We figured out that each of these core functionalities could be understood, designed, implemented, and tested within a week. A month was the initial time that we had for this project, so we further broke it down into individual core functionalities that were week-long iterations. 5. Cost estimate on an element of work based on a breakdown of its components. We saw that to properly build this project, we had to have strict rules to follow. Each week started with a proper breakdown of the functionality. We then had to source resources that would help us test and then implement while making sure that we do not break what we have built already. Cost estimate on an element of work based on the understanding that the estimate should include implementation testing of the interface to other components where applicable. Each build we did in these week-long iterations involved research, sourcing of necessary information and tools, unit tests, implementation, and finally testing that everything we had to ensure that is coherent. 7. Cost estimate on an element of work that demonstrates an understanding that being assisted by other resources or people could escalate the cost. We knew that plenty of the time was going to be spent during the research phases. Luckily, we had a generous community of peers working with knowledge that was willing to help. With that being said, that greatly contributed to escalating costs when it came to time spent on sourcing the right people, sources and resources rather, and information. Element of work often is a subset of a bigger deliverable. This project is made up of many different moving pieces. These individual pieces are what make up the entirety of the project. So, all of the parts, payment requests for instance, have their own methods and way of handling data, but it's still a piece of the WeShare app. The effects of late delivery on an element of work can have on other related components. We had a major plan and time estimations for each part of the project, so late delivery affected the team negatively because we couldn't leave a team member or a section behind. We then had to take our time to sit down together and work through it, and that was costly. Thank you for your time. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.